right, folks, welcome back here to the Diagnostic Trading Hour right here on TFNN.com. Don't forget, you can check us out on Tiger TV at TFNN.com, and you can listen to us on your mobile phone at TFNN.mobi, and now inside the eSignal platform. We're broadcasting live right there for you each and every day. Let's check out where the market's at right now. We got the S&P is getting hammered. So the S&P right now down 28 points. We got the Dow down 214. We got the Russell down 22, and the NASDAQ down 65. Welcome to volatility. I want more of these days. I don't care if they're going up or down. I just want a bunch of them. And this is fantastic. And had a great morning trading. And looking forward to many more of them. So anyways, but just a really good morning, and we got some good a lot of good trades this morning. So hopefully you caught a few of those yourself. Looking on over at gold. Gold is down 1% right now, down 13 points on the day. Copper pretty quiet, down about 1/3%, and we got silver down about 2/3% right now. Natural gas up 2.3%, one of the few ups on the day there. And looking out over oil, getting hammered down about 2% on the day. We got corn is currently down about 4 points. We have the soybeans right now. Soybeans is down up just a few ticks. So pretty quiet on soybeans, but you know, it's a decent little move on corn there. We got pound dollar is down 29 pips. The euro dollar is down 9, with the euro pound up 6. Looking on over at the dollar CAD, it is down 9, with the dollar franc down 5. Dollar yen up 3. And the pound yen down 23 pips on the day, with the euro yen down 16 and the Aussie yen down 37 pips. So pretty quiet on the FX front, but the indices are, like I said, and a good chunk of the commodities are going pretty crazy on this wonderful Thursday afternoon. And we got a few things that we want to do involving some releases that are coming out. We did some stuff on the Fed funds yesterday. We put on an iron condor on it. I know traders who did euro dollar, traders who did pound dollar, traders who did dollar franc, and all the reports I got back, they were profitable. So I know the trade that I put on over there with pound dollar, that stayed within the range. That trade was profitable. So pretty sweet. Gotta love it when the plan comes together, right? And let's check out what we got coming up. This morning, a whole lot of stuff going on. We have the GDP on the Canadian dollar. We can look that one up and look at a few of these different trades. So give me 1 second, and I will go ahead and pull up our new trading plan and get us going. Okay? And we'll dive into tomorrow. See how that one ready. Let's see here. On the CAD GDP, we have an iron condor on that one. And pull it up. Okay, here we go. All right, but anyway, so we got a iron condor on the CAD GDP. And let's pull up the dollar CAD. Let's see how it played out. So I think I had it somewhere. I think my chart is hiding now behind about 300 other screens. There we go. Got it. And we'll go over here to dollar CAD. So it's opening up. We had an expectation of 30 pips on the trade. It was obviously a pretty big morning. So this one may not have worked out as well as we would have liked, because it was just a big, big day. But right here, looking at 8 o'clock, taking that on to 10 o'clock. Maybe it did work out. There we go. 8 pips. So a lot of volatility in between there, but it did drop down 12 and it ran up. But nevertheless, the stats, even with all the crazy volatility this morning, worked out well. And I had a lot of trades going. I didn't catch that one, unfortunately. But it would have made basically 22 out of the 30 pips on the trade. So nice light up right there. We had earnings coming out this morning on ExxonMobil, so XOM there got released, and we have a couple earnings coming up for you tomorrow. We got Procter & Gamble and Chevron coming on out. And those, let's see, their release times are, let me get those for you, at least the wire release, 7 a.m. on Procter & Gamble, PG, and 8:30 a.m. For the wire release. Maybe not the press conference, but the wire release on Chevron, CVX. And both of those are in the Dow, so that could have a significant impact on the Dow tomorrow morning. Today we also had natural gas. So let's go ahead and look at natural gas. So we pull that up. We'll get it going. And we got our spike striker trade. We can do this on unemployment claims. We can do it on natural gas. We can do it on oil. So anyways, natural gas comes on out, 10:30 right there. And we do get a spike, 5 minutes. So looking for that, 5:10. Doesn't quite break down, but does stay within the expected movement of high to low, pretty much right to the tick. I mean, perfect reversal, classic boomerang there. Expecting a move of 0.111. We got a move of 0.109, so like 0.02 off. So you're right there, basically to the tick of the expected movement off the natural gas port. It popped down a little bit before it ran on back up, and pretty much been flat ever since. So that was where all the movement in the day happened. Hopping back over to the euro to take a quick look at unemployment claims off this morning. And the chart opens up. All right, so pretty quiet. Not a whole lot happening. No spikes or anything to be able to trade based off of that one. So pretty quiet there. Okay, let's hop on back now to what we got coming up for tomorrow. Right over here. Let's see if we have anything else tonight we need to be aware of. But we got the CAD GDP covered. We got the unemployment claims covered. Got some be aware events for tonight. Manufacturing PMI on China at 9 o'clock. Usually will have an impact on yen-based and Aussie-based pairs. So make sure you have that out there. Okay. Let me see what else we have. We also got the PPI on the Aussie. And let me get into that. I'm trying to see if... Okay. One more second. Yep, we got it. Okay, so we got some stats on it. I want to make sure I did have stats on that one that we can pull up and use. All right, so the Aussie dollar is going to come out tonight. It's, of course, we got that China report at 9. We have another China report at 9:45. Both of those can have an impact on Aussie and yen pairs. So, again, just be aware of the Chinese reports coming out at 9 and 9, or China reports coming out at 9 and 9:45. Be aware Governor Kurata is going to be speaking, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. He's going to be speaking tonight at 11:30. It's not a major press conference, but it's still a be aware event for 11:30 tonight on yen-based pairs with their, Make in Japan, sort of their FOMC per se. We'll be talking. Okay, so diving on back down to PPI, we got 9:30 release. We're probably looking at about 11 o'clock for an expiration time. And looking back over the last reports, we got 12 ticks, we got 6 ticks, 10 ticks, 4 ticks, 9 ticks. Looks like we got 4 more, 10, 10. It's like a non-existent report, man. Barely moves. 23. Okay, well, that's pretty sweet. And let me back up. I want to see how far back can we go. Can we take this all the way back? Potentially. Let's see here. Oh. All right, so I'm looking to see, could we take it back like to 6 or 7 or 8 o'clock? And it looks like that may not be the best idea. There can be some big moves every once in a while that can come out previous. I'm just trying to see if that's consistent or was just a one-off. Yeah, there could be some big moves that happen before it. So it looks like 9 o'clock entry really is the best entry on the trade. It's about a 50-50 mixed bag before it. So looking at all those, I'm literally going for 25 pips, maybe even less. Let me double check. Yeah, because we're almost at like 10 on every one of them. Okay, so we're going to go for a 20 pip minimum profit. Iron Condor. Enter at 9, expiration at 11. Okay, so enter at 9, expiration at 11. And it could be the intradays or maybe the dailies. You could look at the intraday and daily spreads because you'll have intradays and dailies expiring at 11 o'clock. So enter at 9 for 11 p.m., intraday or daily spreads for a $20 minimum combined profit between the bought spread and the sold spread on the Aussie dollar. And that is our news trade for tonight. Okay? And again, if you're not familiar with trading these iron condors, I go through them on my shows and on my archives. But hop on over to TFN.com and click on Nadex. The Nadex banner right there on the right side of the page. And then click on Trading Demo Trading Account and get that activated. And you'll be able to actually start demo trading these right away tonight. And to help you out, you're going to want to use the scanner. So you can go over here and get free access to check out the scanner. Right here on the TFNN page. It's on one of these, but diagnostic box scanner right there. So just click on that. You'll be all set and ready to go. All right, so now let's look at tomorrow. And, okay, so Switzerland is going to have a bank holiday. So that could impact the dollar franc, so you need to be aware of that. Switzerland's on bank holiday tomorrow. And let's see what else we got here. We have the manufacturing PMI coming out of Britain. We always have the employment change, which will overpower anything else that we care about, like personal income and ISM. So you can lump all those together, NFP, unemployment, ISM, and all that. We'll come back to that here in a moment. Stay right there. All right, folks, going back here to the Diagnostic Trading Hour. Okay, so back on to Friday. We're going in, we're looking at Switzerland on bank holiday. We got manufacturing PMI coming out of Britain. We're at the NFP and unemployment claims, and that's pretty much going to drive the market, so I'm not going to really worry about ISM. Consumer sentiment's pretty much a non-factor anyway. But I would put a ISM, just be aware, ISM manufacturing PMI coming out should affect dollar currency pairs at 10 a.m. Okay? That'll probably be the last mover of the day, and it'll probably be pretty much dead after that, would be my guess. So 10 o'clock, a variety of news reports are coming out that will affect dollar currency pairs. Okay, could also have an impact on the markets as well. Usually pretty short-lived, but nevertheless. Okay, so if we're going in, we're going to dive into this report on the pound dollar coming out. The manufacturer PMI at 4:30 in the morning. And let me see what I got. Okay, so we have a couple ways to look at this one, but we're going to look at a 7 a.m. expiration. And with the thought of, we're basically getting in the trade around 11 o'clock. On the 7 a.m. move, last move, we had 31, 3, 12, 19, 4, 60. Let's see here. We have 47, 25, 27, 10, 35, 80. So we have like 2 or 3 that were pretty big. We have about 6 that are small and a few that are at 30. So on this one, we're going to have to go with the larger one. And if you can't get it, don't take it. I'm going to go for a $35 minimum profit. Okay, so $35 minimum profit entering at 11 p.m. for a 7 a.m. expiration. Iron Condor, buy the lower spread, sell the upper spread on the pound dollar on Nadex. Okay, so that's going to be our manufacturing PMI release. And let's see what we got next. we're going to go into our next release. Is going to be the NFP, the employment change report, right on over here. So let me pull that one on up, and we'll go through it as well. And let me see. It takes a second for the stat engine to pull everything on up. All right, so we got like July 3rd, June 6th, all this stuff, but I just want to see what do we got as far as consistency on movement. Okay, so if we're getting at 8:30, we have a couple choices. We could, 8:30 gives us the ability to enter at 8 for 10 o'clock. It also gives us the ability to enter at 8 for 3 o'clock. And so I'm going to look at both. First, let's focus on the 10 o'clock. So on the 10 o'clock expiration, we got a move of right here. Okay, I got a move of 40 pips, then 10, 40, 25, and 30, 7, like 104. That was back in January. 40, 50, 80. Going into 70 and 60. So we got a pretty good variety, and we might be able to give you a little bit more than this on it. Okay, so right here, where is... trying to pull up some information on this. What, July 3rd? That's a weird date for them to put on there. June 6th. Okay. So, all right. So the NFP, okay, I got all the stats here. I'm just trying to pull them all up and get them going for you. All right, we're going to be looking at, potential iron condors or spreads. Okay, our target is going to be iron condors on these trades. And that's buying the lower spread, selling the upper spread. And looking over the last 12 months, what I found is that usually implied volatility, especially with a day like today being so big, is going to be through the roof tomorrow morning. Okay? So that means we ought to get some lots of premium going on inside those spreads. And with that, we have some nice setups for iron condors. We'll be back right after this, and we'll go through all the currency pairs. All right, folks, we'll come back here to the Diagnostic Trading Hour. Okay, so we're going into the non-farm employment change, the NFP unemployment claims, unemployment number. And I want to walk through the different pairs with you. And so let me bring this up over here, sort of my plan typed out, ready to go. So to make sure you have it down. What we're looking at is the Aussie dollar, okay? You usually get a range of about 60 pips. So you may have to get a little less than 50, but if you can get 50, that's ideal. So the numbers I'm going to give you that are ideal, you could take basically up to 10 less, okay? But ideally, so I'm going to say the ideal number, you could take up to 10 less. So we expect the Aussie dollar to have a range high to low of about 60 pips. We're looking for 50 pips, minimum profit on it. Again, ideal. I'm going to say ideal minimum profit. You could go as low as 40, but if you're at 50, you're going to be a lot happier. This may not be there. So I've learned that you can still hit that break even if you got 40 that moves 60. Okay. And so I just want to help you put all that together. But anyway, so all right. Hopefully you have that understood. But Aussie dollar, 60 range, ideal 50 minimum pips. Euro dollar is a 100 pip expected range. Ideally, you're able to pull off about 60 pips on it. Pound dollar, 100 pip minimum range on it. Ideally, we're going for about 70 pips on it. Okay, dollar CAD, 75 pip expected high to low range. We're looking for about 60 pips of minimum profit on it. Dollar CAD, 75, I just went over that one. Dollar franc, 92 pips on average. We're looking for about 60 pips on it. Dollar yen, 80 pips on average. We're looking for about 60 pips on it. So this is just, from my own experience of what seems to have worked best over and over and over again on NFP. I'll be trading this like on my cell phone because I'll be out for a week. I'll be going on a little vacation. But I want to make sure you have the numbers in front of you and ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to be out for the next week. I'm starting tomorrow. So, but anyway, so go in and yeah. So don't worry, I will be coming back. Just take a little break, hanging out with the family. But I want to go over these numbers with you one more time. This is one of the coolest trades to do. I've done this on my cell phone. I've done it at my daughter's school after I've dropped her off. Obviously parked. And, but anyway, so Aussie dollar, 60 pips, 50 pip minimum profit. So I'll just read, instead of worrying about I want you to have the range to know what to expect. Like, it'll fly up, but then usually pulls back. Okay? So Aussie dollar, 60 pips, 50 pip minimum take profit. Euro dollar, 100 pips. Minimum take profit minimum take profit goal. Our ideal goal is 60. Pound dollar 100 pip range. Minimum take profit we're looking for is about 70. So it's like 35 on each side, right? Dollar CAD 75. Looking for about 60. Dollar franc 92. Looking for about 60. And dollar yen 80, looking for about 60. And if you wonder why, like, some of these I have the exact same take profit on, even though it's a higher range, it's just how much I've seen them pull back on average. So I've seen the dollar yen, not pull back as much as I've seen, like, the dollar franc pull back. Dollar franc will stretch out to like 90 and then pull back. Pardon me, inside that range. Now, some important things. Straddles, okay? You can do straddles on this if they're cheap. Again, if they're cheap enough to pull off a straddle at that expected move. They're like 100 pips to 75 pips to 93 pips. So you need to do all the math. But what I found very often is, by the time I get to break even on a trade, there's not a lot of movement left where I expect to make any money on the straddle, hence why I like the iron condors. But just in case the market maker's asleep at the wheel and they leave the IV dial turned way down low, you could check out a straddle. But I expect with today's volatility that IV is going to be very high, which will make very good for potential profitable iron condors. So you have that. Now we also have advanced straddles. You can do advanced iron condors, and the way to do that would be to go in and like buy the Euro CAD and buy the pound CAD. Okay, so you go in, you do a straddle on Euro CAD, pound CAD. Basically to pull off, how do I explain this to you? Okay, EuroCAD and PoundCAD have a great synthetic hedge or straddle ability. You'd have to go in and do like Euro dollar and dollar CAD. So you have to do a straddle on Euro dollar and a straddle on dollar CAD to pull off a Euro CAD straddle. You can do a straddle on pound dollar and a straddle on dollar CAD to do a straddle on pound CAD. Why do I bring up straddles on these? They're usually the biggest movers. The Euro CAD and pound CAD usually move more than anything else on the NFP report. You can even pull off the same trade potentially next week when Canada has their unemployment claims and we release our labor productivity report next Friday. So that's a potential additional add-on trade you could look at. But this is how to do people go, man, I want to trade Euro CAD, or I want to trade, some other pair that Nadex doesn't have listed. If it is a combination of the dollar, the Aussie, the pound, the CAD, the euro, the franc, the yen. If your FX pair that you want to trade is any one of those combinations of those 7, you can trade it. You just have to combine 2 together. It's just like if I would have traded, let's say I traded at some broker that only had, let's say I'm trading a broker that only has dollar, yen, and pound dollar, but I like trading the pound yen. Okay, then I just go in and trade the dollar yen and the pound dollar at the same time. So dollar yen times pound yen equals, dollar yen times pound dollar equals pound yen, because the dollars cross out. It's old, A over B times B over C equals A over C. you can synthetically make the FX pair. You do the same thing on Nadex. This is a lot more advanced, okay? But they are usually the most volatile pairs on this instrument. So if you want to try something new and stretch yourself and you feel like you got this down, I would demo it. I wouldn't go all in on your live account. I would demo it so you can just get through the motions, okay? And to help it maybe separate out your positions, because maybe you're doing condors on your dollar, condors on dollar CAD, condors on pound dollar over the other side. But you can check out doing some straddles over here on the, making, like I said, the synthetic and putting those pieces together. And let's see here. On these trades, we are looking for an entry. I will go into that. Most of the movement that is going to happen in the first 15 minutes. So what that means is that you can actually go in and look for 3 o'clock expiration spreads. Okay? They're going to be wider than the spreads that you're looking at for, like, say, a 10 a.m. spread. So 10 a.m. would be best. If you could pull it off for an iron condor for a neutral trade, 10 a.m. would be ideally best. But often you won't have enough premium in them. So go ahead and feel free to look at those. And sometimes you'll find that, like, pound dollar will just be inflated, and that's a great iron condor. But dollar franc, one of the also very highly volatile pairs, sometimes it'll just be really stupid cheap. And you're like, wow, I could do an iron condor on this one, or I could do a straddle. I'm going to do a straddle on dollar franc, and wow, it's only like $5 more to do a straddle at 3 o'clock. I'm going to do a straddle at 3 o'clock on that thing. And on pound dollar, you find out you get 20 more bucks, and you get a lot more money. And so you go in and you do the 3 o'clock trade. But usually you don't get a whole lot of movement after that first 15 minutes. Like, it explodes and chills out and usually pulls back. So this is what like sort of the usual patterns on the NFP. But basically what that gives you is either an 8 to 10, or it gives you a 7 to 3. So enter at 8 a.m. for a 10 a.m. expiration. Enter at 7 a.m. for a 3 p.m. expiration. And you could even, if you wanted to, you could look at straddles entering anywhere between 7 and about 8:15 for a 9 a.m. expiration. And that's a little bit of a different trade that's not even listed on the normal report. So you can add that to the report of a potential straddle. Somewhere between 7 and 8:15 entry for a 9 a.m. Expiration, since the report comes out at 8:30. Trying to make that thing as cheap as possible, because again, we usually get that explosion in the first 15 minutes. So you might try to capitalize and do a straddled condor. You could try strangles on binaries. Not my preference, because if it doesn't get hit, you lose everything when you try to do the binaries that way. Where the spreads, a lot of times you can break even, lose a little, make a little, or hit your nice take profit. So some tips on you if you are going to do the more advanced trades is make sure you're watching a Euro CAD chart or a Pound CAD chart. Don't be watching Euro Dollar and Dollar CAD charts to manage a Euro CAD position. Be watching the Euro CAD or Pound CAD chart in that process. Let's see here, and then for that, same thing. You can use for the straddles that we're talking about, which the ideal ones are the Euro CAD and Pound CAD. But you got 9 a.m., you got 10 a.m., and you got 3 p.m. as well. And but all this happening on Friday, so just a really good setup, and often a great report. I'm hoping that, like I said, they'll be overly inflated on the implied volatility, so we get some great trades. But at the same time, like, they sort of bomb on the actual results, so it's like a non-event, but it doesn't even move. So I'm hoping like they sort of basically hits what they expect it to hit, and everyone's like, oh, that was boring. And then also the premium gets sucked out of the thing, and then we get to keep all the money. So we'll see what happens, of course, when it rolls on out. Anyways, that gives you the plan right there. And we'll do a quick review for next week as well, because that wraps up our NFP trade. And like I said, make sure you have a Be Aware on the ISM report. Okay, so looking over here, we got non-manufacturing PMI coming out of China on Saturday. That could have a little impact on the markets on Sunday. Australia is going to have a bank holiday on Sunday, so that could impact it quite a bit. So make sure you put that one on your calendar. Aussie dollar bank holiday. Okay. And let's see, we're going to have retail sales, so that's going to be a tradable event on retail sales Sunday night. We'll go on in and into Monday to sort of try to give you an idea of what's coming up next week. We're going to have construction PMI. So let's see, what do we got here? We got retail sales Sunday night on Aussie. We got construction PMI on pound on Monday. Oh, Canada is going to have a bank holiday on Monday, so make sure you're aware of that. Potential trade balance trade on, let's see, Monday. And let's see, what else do we have on the list? Pull this up, put together. And we got that one. Okay, just trying to make sure I got them all on the list here. Let's see here. We got, okay, so we got the trade balance. You got to be aware. China. Any kind of these China reports are coming out. Impact. Yen and Aussie. Let's see, what else do we got? Okay, we're going to have... All right, we're going to have the interest rate. So we got interest rate on Tuesday of the Aussie dollar. Looking it over, we got a services PMI on Tuesday of the pound. We're going to have ISM on the dollar, so you probably trade Euro USD on Tuesday. Be aware of the New Zealand employment change report. Impact on the Aussie on Tuesday after, it's at 6:45, so yeah, it'll basically be while the market's open. Looking on over at Wednesday, we're going to have Frank CPI at 3:15. And I'll go through a couple more of these so we just know which ones that you want to be focusing on, you want to be aware of when we get back after this break. All right, folks, going back here to the Diagnostic Trading Hour. Okay, so I'm just going through the next week here and seeing what all we have on the list to be aware of. We got some good stuff coming up next Thursday. It's going to be packed. So, but let's see where we're at right now. All right, so we talked about, we got today covered. We got tomorrow covered. We're going into next week. And basically what we're seeing right there, we covered the retail sales on Sunday night. We're going to have, Canada has a bank holiday Monday. All right. And then we got new trade balance on the Aussie, pretty minor. We got the cash rate, interest rate statement coming out on Tuesday. That's their FOMC announcement, right, for the Aussie at 12:30 in the morning. And then we'll roll on down to services PMI on the British pound. That will be a tradable event. We got the ISM manufactured PMI. That'll be coming out as well at 10 a.m., so that's another tradable event. And then be aware for the Aussie New Zealand employment report and unemployment rate, their NFP, okay, is coming out at 6:45. That usually does have a significant impact, or at least an impact. Not necessarily significant, but it can easily have 20, 30-pip move impact on the Aussie, being so closely related. Hopping on over to Wednesday, we're going to have the manufacturing production report on the pound. Tradable event. We got a dollar CAD, both having trade balance, so that could have a little, shouldn't be massive, but probably could make for a good iron condor. And then we're going to have employment change, unemployment rate, the Aussie NFP, happening Wednesday night at 9:30. Rolling on into Thursday, we're going to have the pound interest rate, okay? So their FOMC meeting, great iron condor trade. Then we're going to have the euro interest rate, another great iron condor trade. And then we have the ECB press conference, a great straddle, okay? That sort of overrides unemployment claims, but may give you a good spike striker on the unemployment claims next week. We got IVPMI coming out. The dollar CAD will probably be overwritten by the Euro press conference that comes out in two different parts there. We'll have that night, we're going to have RBA monetary policy statements, so sort of like their minutes, Fed minutes report, coming out at 9:30 on Thursday evening. There'll also be some monetary policy statements and a yen press conference Thursday night and Friday morning. Random times there, so you got to check the historical times to see when those are going to be coming on out. Scrolling on down, we're going to have employment change and unemployment rate along with our non-farm productivity report coming out at the same time. Should be a nice big move on the dollar CAD next Friday. China will have its CPI with a couple days in between there. I don't think that's going to make a big difference. Could have a little opening gap impact on some FX pairs. Rolling into the following Monday, so because I'm going to be out till the following Tuesday, we got to have the NAB business confidence report. We'll have retail sales. I'll be back by then. Well, no, I won't. Okay, so we got retail sales on the dollar franc coming out there on the 11th. NAB business confidence report 9:30 that night. So that's more of a be aware of it. That's not going to be a tradable event. But the retail sales of the franc could be tradable as an iron condor. And then hopping on into Tuesday, we'll be looking at the German zoo economic sentiment. That's going to be another be aware event. Might be tradable. I'll try to look at there and get some information out there for you, but it might be tradable. And then what else do we have? We got the G20 meetings going to be starting up next week on Tuesday. So that can cause just all sorts of random volatility for us out of nowhere as different press conferences and things like that happen. Woo! Okay. Well, there you go.